Bring it a blazing.
Hey, Mike.
Marty, how are you?
I'm doing great, and yourself?
I'm great, thanks.
Outstanding. It turned out to be a beautiful day for a ride with Discover UC.
Absolutely, glad to be here.
All right. So, it sounds like you've been a pretty busy guy, huh?
Absolutely, and we're thrilled about that. There's a lot of activity happening in the state of West Virginia right now.
Fantastic. Well, of course, the big story is the Virgin Hyperloop decision to establish a certification site here in the state. What's that mean for West Virginia?
Well, Marty, first of all, let me say thank you for having me. You know how fond the Graney family is of the University of Charleston. Mm-hmm. So the Virgin Hyperloop announcement is tremendous. It's actually difficult to fathom how important that will be to the economy and to education in West Virginia for many decades to come. I will tell you that it was quite a competition, and it really is exciting because it sort of will be the foundation of diversifying our economy sort of in the new era, using technology, using new forms of transportation. I mean, think of it like this. We're actually building Cape Canaveral in Grant County and Tucker County. And, thousands of construction jobs, literally, very high-tech oriented jobs, engineers, technicians, and all 50 states actually received an invitation to participate in a competition. And they came and visited, and so we took them to 3 different sites, and they ended up, sort of making a determination that the site in Grant County and Tucker County was going to be perfect for what they were looking at. It's 2.5 hours from Washington. We know the Department of Transportation is going to be heavily involved in this process. And so we won. So it proves that we have the ability to compete not only a nationwide competition, but a worldwide competition.
Sure. So who are we up against?
Well, they had been negotiating with a number of states for actually finding pathways through those states.
I see.
Ohio, Pennsylvania, Missouri, Washington State, Texas. And so we had plenty of stout competition. And really, I think the fact that we're small, we all know each other well, we work together well, we're nimble, and I think they very much appreciated that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's incredibly exciting. So even after all the investment that goes into the build-out, this is going to be a real kind of sustainable activity, right?
Well, the long play here, from my perspective, is filling in the supply chain and manufacturing all the components that will go into the construction of these pods, as well as construction of the tube itself. It's a zero emissions technology. Nice. It really runs on solar power, and the fact that we could actually unearth and capture some of our rare earth elements would be very important for them to have graphene and the components that go into magnets, because that's how it runs.
Gotcha.
So it really, I think, it's hard for us to determine, how big an impact it really will be. The other thing I really think it does for us is it will be a living STEM lab, right? So for K through 12, for the CTCs, for the 4-year universities, this will be an environment for the students educated in West Virginia to really have a live, living lab. Another component, curiously, is that it almost becomes a tourist attraction. And when I say that, I think states that are considering, or countries that are considering installing this technology in their country will come see the Hyperloop Certification Center and understand the technology behind it, and make decisions as to whether they want to pursue this form of transportation. So imagine that if you're in Morgantown, West Virginia, and you want to go to Washington D.C., it's a 20-minute ride. So it's just it's sort of hard to believe, and that's why we sort of really believe that we are building Cape Canaveral here in West Virginia.
Right. I'm sure, even though that was a kind of a big accomplishment for your office and of course for the state, that's not the only thing that you've been working on. So what are some other exciting things that are happening here?
Well, we've had some great announcements here recently. West Virginia Methanol announced that they will be building a plant in Pleasant County, much like the U.S. methanol plant that's being built here in Institute. And what's exciting about that, of course, is it's value added to our natural gas space. We haven't necessarily been able to compete for a cracker yet, but this is another form of adding value to our natural gas, making methanol, which is in high demand across the country and the world. So that was a great announcement a couple of weeks ago. Just this week, in fact, the governor announced that Mitsubishi Heavy Industries will be adding a significant number of employees to their MRO operation in Bridgeport. They bought the assets of Bombardier, and they are expanding that facility. They've called back their 500 current employees, and they're going to add another 240. They're actually consolidating a couple of other North American operations into the Bridgeport facility. That's fantastic.
What are the kind of the immediate top 3, 4, or 5 things that you're going to make sure that you hit home are going to be the real value addeds of being here in West Virginia?
Well, we believe that, and you'll see soon, a campaign that we're calling Yes, West Virginia. And the reason we're calling it Yes, West Virginia is because if you say yes to West Virginia, the second you move here, you've got a competitive advantage. We have a lower cost of doing business. In fact, we're tied for the 6th lowest cost of doing business in the country. We have a loyal workforce. We have, I think, the number 2 most loyal workforce in the country. And, multiple examples of that. As an example, in Buffalo, the Toyota facility there has expanded 12 times. They started out with 300 employees and now have close to 2,000. So they love our workforce, and Toyota is absolutely committed. But there are multiple examples of that across the state. And in the last couple of years, we've had fantastic new wins. I mean, the Northrop Grumman facility at Rocket Center in Mineral County, added 500 employees last year. We're going to change the future of West Virginia. We're going to diversify the economy. We're going to, have fantastic education program because we're sort of training to where the job needs to be. In other words, wherever that student determines they want to end their formal education, they need to be employable.
Absolutely.
And K through 12 gets that. The CTCs gets that. And I know your university gets that. And so I'm thrilled because I don't think we had that cooperation or that collaboration in the past. Now we do. Yeah. That's how we change the game.
Got to have all oars in the water, all rowing in the same direction.
Absolutely.
Well, Mike, we appreciate all the great work that you're doing and these terrific accomplishments, and we'll look forward to getting together again and finding out what new companies and jobs you've been able to help create here in West Virginia.
Well, I'm humbled to have this job. It's exciting. It's fascinating, and I really think that this is a great opportunity for West Virginia to continue to grow. And,
outstanding.
Really appreciate your leadership and what you're doing for Charleston and for the state.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
All right.